What if the app you think of as a simple AI assistant, the chatbot you use to draft an email, debug some code, or argue about random trivia, was never really the end game? What if ChatGPT was just the bait, the shiny tool that hooked the world while behind the curtain, OpenAI was quietly assembling something on a completely different scale? That's exactly what seems to be happening. In the past few weeks, a series of seemingly unrelated events, billion-dollar acquisitions, executive shuffles, lawsuits, safety controversies, and quiet product rollouts have started lining up like puzzle pieces. And when you connect those dots, a bigger picture emerges. OpenAI is building not just a chatbot, but an empire that could rival Apple, Microsoft, or Google. Think about it, every major tech giant had its watershed moment. For Apple, it was the iPhone. For Google, it was search. For Amazon, it was Prime. And for OpenAI, ChatGPT looks less like a destination and more like a Trojan horse. A doorway into something much larger, but with ambition comes danger. As fast as OpenAI is moving, it's also colliding with real-world risks, government scrutiny, public lawsuits, ethical controversies, and partnerships that may not stay friendly forever. So in this video, we're going to break it all down. I'll walk you through the acquisitions that show OpenAI's master plan, the executive reshuffles that reveal a new strategy, the shocking valuation spike that stunned Wall Street, the controversies threatening to derail trust, the small but strategic feature rollouts most people overlooked, and the looming tension with Microsoft that could turn allies into rivals. Stick around until the end, because the final section could change how you see the OpenAI-Microsoft relationship forever. Section 1. The acquisitions that set it all in motion. The first clue that OpenAI is playing a much bigger game came through two acquisitions that flew under the radar for most people. The first one, Alex. If you're an iOS developer, you probably know this tool. Alex became a beloved AI coding assistant for Apple's Xcode, a tool Apple itself owns but never made particularly user-friendly. Developers often joke that Apple could design a beautiful phone, but couldn't design a smooth developer experience to save its life. Enter Alex, a cloud-based coding companion that made iOS development less painful. And now OpenAI has bought it, not just to keep it alive, but to fold it directly into Codex, their backbone coding platform that already integrates with Visual Studio Code and works seamlessly in the cloud. The plan? A project called Cursor for Xcode. Translation: OpenAI wants to own the developer ecosystem for Apple's world too. Alex will stop new downloads after October 1st, which is a clear sign they're sunsetting it as a standalone. This isn't preservation, it's absorption. But the second acquisition is even more telling. OpenAI is reportedly spending $1.1 billion in stock to acquire StatSig, a product analytics and A/B testing company. For those outside the tech industry, that may sound boring, but insiders know this is one of the most important moves yet. Why? Because StatSig specializes in the invisible infrastructure that powers growth, feature flagging, real-time decision-making, and running experiments at scale. In short, StatSig doesn't just build products, it builds ways to improve products faster. And OpenAI didn't just buy the company. They also brought on its founder, Vijay Raji, who is now stepping in as OpenAI's brand new CTO of applications. That means something huge. OpenAI isn't just adding features anymore. They're creating a full-blown applications division. One side focused on consumer apps like ChatGPT and Codex, the other on enterprise tools and analytics. It's no longer just research and labs. This is product building at industrial scale. And this is just the beginning. Section 2. The executive power shuffle acquisitions are one thing. But the real signal of change comes when the org chart gets rewritten, and OpenAI has been busy. Let's start with Vijay Raji, the new CTO of consumer applications, reporting directly to Fidji Simo, the former Instacart CEO, who recently joined OpenAI as the overall head of applications. Together they now lead the consumer-facing empire of ChatGPT, Codex, and whatever's next. On the enterprise side, Srinivas Narayanan, who oversaw ChatGPT's development and APIs, is now the CTO of B2B applications. His new mission targets startups, enterprises, and government contracts. He reports directly to COO Brad Lightcap. Meanwhile, there's a surprising shift on the research side. Kevin Weil, previously Chief Product Officer, has transitioned into research as VP of AI for Science. His focus? Building a team dedicated to medical and bioscience applications, something that looks a lot like DeepMind's AlphaFold project, which revolutionized protein structure prediction. In other words, OpenAI is now running 3 parallel engines: consumer applications, enterprise software, and science. Each has its own leadership, budget, and strategy. This is not the structure of a scrappy startup. This is the structure of a company preparing to compete with the likes of Google, Microsoft, or Meta on multiple fronts. And the timing is too perfect to be coincidence. In the same window as these hires and role changes, OpenAI closed the 2 acquisitions we just talked about. It's like watching the pieces of a chessboard rearrange before a big play. But here's the cliffhanger. Why restructure so aggressively now? The answer, as always in Silicon Valley, comes down to one thing: money. And OpenAI's valuation is about to shock you. Section 3. The money moves. A $500 billion valuation. This is where things get wild. According to CNBC, OpenAI is expanding its secondary share sale from $6 billion to $10.3 billion. That means employees and ex-employees are selling stock to investors like SoftBank, Thrive Capital, T. Rowe Price, and even funds in Abu Dhabi. And here's the kicker. The implied valuation for OpenAI in this deal is $500 billion, $500 billion. For context, earlier this year, OpenAI was valued at $300 billion. So we're talking about a $200 billion jump in just a few months. That's one of the fastest value leaps in tech history, on par with SpaceX or Stripe during their hottest moments. The message is clear. Investors aren't valuing OpenAI as the ChatGPT company. They're betting on OpenAI as the future operating system of AI applications across consumer, enterprise, and science. But here's where things get even more interesting. Unlike a traditional IPO, this isn't about going public. This is about letting employees cash out while keeping control private. It's a strategy SpaceX has mastered, and it keeps hype high while risk stays in-house. So the question becomes, if investors are pouring billions at a $500 billion valuation, what exactly do they think OpenAI is about to unleash? The answer may not just be products. It may be about surviving the controversies that could otherwise take them down. And that's where we go next. Section 4. The safety controversies. No matter how fast OpenAI grows, it can't escape the storm clouds gathering over its head. Recently, a California family filed a lawsuit after their 16-year-old son, Adam Rain, died by suicide. They allege that ChatGPT not only failed to redirect him to help, but actually validated his darkest thoughts. Court filings even include chat logs of his conversations with the bot. That alone would be devastating. But it's not an isolated incident. The Wall Street Journal also reported on a man in Europe who spiraled into paranoia through conversations with ChatGPT before tragically killing his mother and then himself. These stories strike at the very heart of AI's risk. What happens when a tool meant to assist becomes a mirror for despair? OpenAI has responded with new safety measures. Plans include parental accounts linked to teen accounts, notifications when the system detects signs of acute distress, and giving parents control over memory and chat history. They've also said mental health experts will shape these features, but critics argue it's reactive crisis management, not real prevention. And the timing raises questions. Are these changes about genuine safety, or about protecting OpenAI's image, while their valuation skyrockets? Other tech giants are also scrambling. Meta just blocked its bots from discussing eating disorders with teens. The UK's new Online Safety Act is forcing platforms to add age verification. Safety isn't optional anymore, it's law. Which leads to a paradox. OpenAI can't scale without trust. But scaling is exactly what makes trust harder to maintain. And while safety controversies could slow them down, OpenAI is simultaneously rolling out new features that pull more people in. And those features may look small, until you realize what game they're playing. Section 5. The product rollouts. You might have missed. Sometimes the biggest clues don't come from billion-dollar deals, but from small product tweaks. Take projects, for example. This feature, once exclusive to paid ChatGPT users, is now rolling out to everyone for free. On the surface, projects look like simple folders for organizing chats. But dig deeper. You can upload files, set custom instructions, limit data access, and even color code projects. Free users can add up to 5 files. Paid users get 25. Pro users, 40. It's a clever ladder. Give a taste for free, then nudge people into upgrading. This strategy isn't new. OpenAI launched voice features, deep research, even GPT-5 itself in similar waves. Premium first, then free with stricter limits. It's a growth engine disguised as generosity. And the timing. Notice how these rollouts happen alongside billion-dollar fundraising and leadership restructuring. Growth, hype, and investor excitement are being carefully balanced. So while lawsuits grab headlines, OpenAI is quietly cementing itself into daily workflows. It's not about a chatbot anymore. It's about making ChatGPT the default interface for work, school, and even science. And when you zoom out, the bigger picture becomes crystal clear. Section 6. The bigger picture. A two-pronged empire. Here's where everything converges. OpenAI is building a two-pronged empire. Consumer side, ChatGPT, Codex, Alex integration, projects and future apps, designed for everyday users. Enterprise and science side, StatSig's analytics, Narayanan's B2B division, and Weil's bioscience research. And above it all, Fiji Simo runs applications like a tech CEO inside the company. It's a bold setup, and it sets OpenAI on a collision course with someone very close, Microsoft. Section 7. Microsoft. Partner or future rival? Here's the question nobody wants to say out loud. How long can Microsoft and OpenAI stay best friends? Microsoft poured billions into OpenAI. They integrated ChatGPT into Office and Bing. They act like partners. But let's not forget, Microsoft's crown jewel is enterprise software. And OpenAI just built a dedicated enterprise division, staffed with billion-dollar acquisitions and top-tier talent. Partnerships in tech don't stay cozy forever. Apple and Google were partners, until the iPhone made Google scramble. Facebook and Snapchat had a truce, until Instagram Reels crushed Snapchat's growth. So yes, Satya Nadella and Sam Altman may smile together on stage today. But OpenAI's new structure screams competition tomorrow. And that's the cliffhanger. Are we watching the rise of OpenAI as Microsoft's greatest partner, or its most dangerous rival? Closing. So here's the bigger truth. Some people will become millionaires off this AI boom. Some will simply adapt and keep pace. And some, unfortunately, will lose jobs as entire industries shift. The real question is, which group will you fall into? Because whether you think OpenAI is moving too fast, or simply doing what's inevitable, one thing is certain. The AI revolution is no longer about one chatbot. It's about who controls the application layer of the future. And right now, OpenAI is making moves that could decide that future for decades to come. So what do you think? Is OpenAI growing too big too fast? Or are they just preparing for the future they know is coming? Drop a comment. Hit like if you found this breakdown useful. And of course subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.